Changing Economic World, Podcast 1 on HDI. This podcast covers HDI, GNI, standard of living, quality of life, birth rate, and other indicators of development. First of all, HDI. HDI stands for the Human Development Index. It combines data on both social and economic factors. It uses life expectancy, literacy rate, and income per person to give a score between 0 and 1 for each country. The closer a country scores to 1, the higher its level of development is ranked. It is seen as a more reliable method for measuring or ranking a country's level of development because it takes into account 3 different factors. GNI. GNI stands for Gross National Income. It's the total income earned by a country's people and its businesses, divided by the number of people in that country, its population. This is perhaps a less reliable form of development than using HDI. It's only taking into consideration an economic factor, and the way it's calculated based on a mathematical mean does mean that sometimes information can be misleading. So, for example, if a millionaire shares a street with 99 other people who own nothing, the mean wealth of each person, or GNI, would be valued at £10,000. So £1 million divided by 100 people. Now we know that 99 people actually have nothing, but their GNI would come back as 10,000, which is a misleading figure. Secondly, people in LICs and NEEs are often working very hard, but in the informal sector, the value of their effort is not included in their GNI, as it is not an officially recognised form of work. Additionally, data may not always be accurate. Some people may lie about their earnings. Data may be hard to collect due to a conflict or disaster. The rapid migration of people in and out of cities may make it hard to know how many people live in a place and what they earn. All GNI is converted into US dollars so that it can be compared throughout the world, but due to currency changes, that can change on a daily basis. What's the difference between standard of living and quality of life? Standard of living is a measure of wealth. It is an economic factor based on income and the necessities and luxuries that people can afford. Quality of life is a social factor. This is a measure of well-being. It's harder to measure, but includes education, health, human rights, freedom, and environment. Birth rate. Birth rate is the number of babies born per 1,000 people per year. It can be used as a measure of development. Other factors, as well as birth rate, that could be used to rank or figure out the level of development of a country could include literacy rate, which is calculated as a percentage of people with basic reading and writing skills. People per doctor, which is the number of people who depend on a single doctor for their healthcare needs. Access to safe water, which is the percentage of people who have access to water that does not carry a health risk. And IMR, or infant mortality rate. This is the number of deaths of children under 1 year of age per 1,000 live births. Now that we've covered HDI, here are some questions that you might like to consider having a go at. Exam question 1. Justify why GNI, gross national income, is not always the best way to measure the development of a country. To what extent is the HDI the most effective measure of development? Join me again for podcast 2 on the changing economic world on the demographic transition model.